I come out of the game, partly because I can use a blow, and partly so that some of the other guys can have a chance to play. 16 guys showed up tonight. A great turnout, almost too many, but nobody's complaining because it's a lot better than the 6 or 7 we usually get. And at our age, we can use a few subs. It's a pickup game. Shirts and skins. Have been playing it all our lives. Tonight the shirts are soaked with sweat. The skins look like they've been eating nothing but donuts for the last 15 years. I walk over to the other guys on the sidelines. They're killing us inside, I say. We gotta pack it in and make them shoot it from the outside. The other guys don't hear me. They're in the middle of a conversation. It's right around here, Ben says to Dan, pointing to a spot in his lower back. Somewhere in there. That's rough, Dan says. L4, L5. I know what that's like. I had mine operated on 2 years ago. What did you have, Ben says. Herniated disc, says Dan. The doctor said I had completely blown out the sac. Bone was rubbing on bone. There was nothing left. Ben winces, and so do I. I don't like the sound of that bone on bone. I prefer the sound of the sneakers squeaking on the hardwood floor of the gym, the shouts of the players, the swoosh of the ball through the net. It's not a bad operation, says Dan. I didn't want to have it done, but I was real glad when it was over. The way they do it now, they hardly have to cut you. Then they go in, suck the tissue out, sew you up, and that's it. End of pain. Boy, I wish the pain would end, says Ben. There are some mornings I can't even tie my shoes. Radial pain down the leg, says Dan. I remember it well. Another basket on the inside, I say. Look at that. How can we keep those guys out of there? They look at me. Foul them, Dan says. Kurt comes hobbling over, leaving the game, with a look on his face like his hand had been caught in a blender. He curses repeatedly, hopping on one foot, then another. Somebody go in for me. I'm through. What's wrong? What happened? Ben says. John just stepped on my foot on that last drive. Damn it. Kurt shuts his eyes and grits his teeth against the pain. Hops around some more. We don't understand what's causing his distress. I'll go in, says Ben, running out onto the court. With several more heartfelt curses, Kurt sits down. I've got an ingrown toenail, he says, and John just stepped on it. He mashed it, he drilled it, he nailed it to the floor. I don't even want to look at it. Damn. Ed comes over and asks if Kurt is all right. Kurt explains about his ingrown toenail and how John stepped on it as he was driving to the basket. He says the podiatrist is probably going to have to operate on it now. Huh, Ed says. I'm seeing a podiatrist myself. What's wrong with you, Kurt says. I got a pinched nerve, Ed says, pointing to his sneaker, between the big toe and the next one. It hurts like hell, like a molten wire running right up my leg. How can you play, I ask. Ed shrugs. It hurts if I play, it hurts if I don't play. I might as well play. Can he do anything for you, Kurt says. He gives me some cortisone shots. $85 a pop, Ed said. I've had 5 so far. Hasn't done squat for my foot. I'm going to go see somebody else. Maybe you should have surgery, Kurt says. Yeah, I've considered it, but it's not that simple, Ed says. Ed explains to Kurt the complications that surgery could bring. I drift away, having heard enough about ingrown toenails and pinched nerves. I'm out to play hoops, and I want to talk about hoops. I remember when all we talked about was hoops. Ray and Phil are talking together. As I come over, still wondering how to contain the other team's powerful inside game, I hear Ray telling Phil about the numbness in his fingers. Sometimes it's a tingling, he says. Phil counters with the bursitis in his right shoulder and the arthritis in his knees. Jimmy comes over and shares his story about how he has to hang a sandbag from a contraption he rigs up in a doorway at home. It pulls on a collar he wears around his neck, stretching his back twice a day, 15 minutes at a time, morning and night, with a 25-pound bag of sand yanking his head off. I walk on, deciding not to interrupt this medical discussion. Besides, I need to keep walking when I'm not in the game. Otherwise, I'll stiffen up. I go over to Dick and Charlie. What's the score now, I say. I lost track during the pinched nerve story. Don't know, says Charlie. Where's Mark? He left, I say, about 15 minutes ago. Was he okay, Charlie says. I think so, I say. He looked okay. I think he was just tired. It's the first time he's been out this year. Yeah, I think he had an operation, says Charlie. Didn't he have an operation? I don't know, I say. I think he did, says Charlie. Yeah, he did, but that's not why he left. He's got gout. Look at this, Dick says, pointing out on the floor. Hey, he shouts at Bill, who's running by. You're bleeding. Bill wears glasses with one of those straps to hold them in place. Somebody's hit him with an elbow and jammed his glasses up over an eye, cutting his brow. Red blood is streaming down over his nose and glasses. Bill stops to wipe his nose, look back at his hand, the red, sweaty blood. You're going to drip on the floor. Get out, Dick says. He takes Bill's place in the game. Reluctantly, Bill comes over and asks if anyone has a towel. We are looking for one when we hear a shout from out on the floor. We look back and see Dick on the wood, grimacing in pain, holding his right ankle. He's been in the game 5 seconds and he's down. A freak accident. I leave Bill and run out onto the floor. All the players are standing around Dick, panting, dripping sweat. He is cursing, holding his ankle. This is what we all dread, turning an ankle or twisting a knee. How did it happen, Joe says. I came down on somebody's foot and just pulled it, Dick says. Did you turn it over, Chris says. Oh yeah, I heard it pop. It's gone. I'm out, says Dick, supplementing his evaluation with several fulsome curses, pounding his hand on the floor. Help me up, will you? Several people do. Get ice on it as fast as you can, Joe says. 2 guys are helping Dick out to his car. I open the door for them. Dick is cursing. It used to be I could sprain an ankle and be back the next day. A little tape, boom. Now this is it for the year for me. I know it is. I'm going to have to get a cane like I did the last time I did this. Damn it. Back on the court, Joe says, geez, this is a rough night. How many we got? We got 10? Let's go. He looks at me. You in, he says. Yeah, okay, I say. Just give me a few minutes to warm up. Come on, let's go, Joe says. You guard Russ. I go over to Russ, lean on him a little. That's the way I play defense now, since I can no longer move my feet or raise my arms. I lean on guys. Russ looks at me. He's my size, bald as Humpty Dumpty. He's wearing air casts on his ankles, rubber braces on both knees, one on his elbow, a terry cloth headband, and a wide strap of rubber around his belly. It looks like all the braces are holding him up or together. Before we started playing, I was kidding him about it, and he said he was in walking traction, the only way he could play. And he still wants to play, even though the scene is a comic reenactment of what used to be. Take it easy on me, he says now as we begin. I think I just pulled something.